number one, this one is so bad that it's actually awesome. This is the Ion Scratch, and I actually had this, I guess you could call it controller, and literally all it was 5 stick-on pieces. You would stick them on with like suction cups. You would put one over the crossfader, you'd put 2 on the jog wheels, the Scratch, and then you'd put the other 2 on the BPM slider, and it was just so ridiculous. And as someone who started DJing with DJ Pro AI and the iPad, I thought this concept was so cool, and I used it, and it kind of worked. You could use the crossfader, you could scratch a little bit. Of course, it wasn't perfect, and it wasn't accurate, and it was more of a toy, but it looked really funny when you would DJ with it. And I used to joke around with my friends and say, oh, I got all my equipment here to DJ, and then just stick it on the iPad. So this is the Ion Scratch. I'm not sure if anyone's ever seen this one in the wild, but it didn't work very well. It was only like $10 or $15, and it was a cool concept, but completely missed the ball and was basically useless. So that's the Ion Scratch, one of the worst DJ controllers ever. Next is going to be this one, the Casio XW DJ1. This thing is kind of ridiculous. I love Casio products. I love their watches. I love the G-Shock, and they make so many different kinds of electronics. And this was meant to be like a scratching controller. So you would have this one big jog wheel. You'd have all these buttons, and it was meant for DJs that use their phone and use the iPad to have a big jog wheel to scratch with. And I just think it was ridiculous. Why wouldn't they only put one jog wheel, and it was so unconventional and so weird. It was designed specifically with DJ Pro AI in mind, but this controller completely missed the ball. Here's a video of someone talking about it. So it lit up, it connected to your phone, it looked really weird, and it was made for scratching and had all these buttons. I'm sure you can map the buttons to do all kinds of stuff now with the updated app, but definitely one of the worst controllers, and it's really sad because I love Casio, but this controller is terrible. All right, let's go to the next one. Here we go. This was also my first actual controller that wasn't a stick-on, and this is the Numark I DJ Live. Now, the second one, they updated it really well, and it's nice and sleek, and it actually looks like a DJ controller, but this first one literally looks like something you would get at Toys R Us for a toddler. The way they rounded off the sides just really made it look like a toy. It just looks very cheap, very plasticky, and with all the space that they have, they could have added more buttons. They could have added more knobs. I feel like this one was kind of maybe rushed to market. Again, this was another one that was designed with DJ Pro in mind back when it was DJ2, and it kind of gave DJing with the phone and iPad a bad name because it made it look unprofessional and it made it look like a toy. It did work though. I did connect this to my phone. You could scratch on it. There was a button in the middle where you could change it from scratching with the jog wheels to searching through the track or speeding up and slowing down the track. And then there was just a bass, a mid and high knob, a volume knob. There was tempo adjust buttons here, plasticky crossfader, play, cue, set, and sync. So technically, it has everything you need. It was fun to get the feel of a controller. You could find them now. I think this one is on the site Macari for $30. People can't even give them away. I would have bought this one, but it comes with, I don't know if you could see it here, it comes with an integrated 13 pin. So for the old iPhones, you would need an adapter to use it, and it just wouldn't work very well. It actually came with the headphone splitter, a really cheap headphone splitter, and it came with a little stand. And overall, it was cool that they made an affordable DJ controller for beginners, but this controller is just simply terrible. And I'm happy that they made the new one a lot better and a lot more sleek and more of an actual DJ controller. But if you find one of these used, don't buy it because you really can't do much with it. All right, next is going to be this one. I actually had this controller as well. It was given to me, and this is what started the whole mini strip pocket DJ controller revolution. Now Hercules has like 3 of them that are great, and then the one that came after this controller is my favorite controller, which is the Numark I DJ to Touch. So the first one was silver, and it had the tempo slider just like the new one. It had a play and cue. It didn't have a set button. It didn't have any pads at all. You couldn't do anything with the pads. It had a sync button, a headphone button, pitch bend, and then it had this really small crossfader that was like so hard to use, and it was flat. On the new one, they gave you a like a kind of real normal crossfader, but this one, it was really hard to cut and really hard to scratch with. It had the tempo sliders, and then the jog wheels. The new one, what makes this mini controller great is the jog wheels act just like they do on bigger controllers. You touch the middle, you could scratch. You touch the side, you could speed up and slow down. This had these weird jog wheels that had like an indent for your thumb, so you were supposed to use it like that with your thumb and to scratch and to search through the song. It didn't have any bass knobs. It was just really hard to mix. This was meant to go like under, like at the bottom of a laptop. So like you'd have the keyboard, then you'd have this controller. And this actually has saved me when we were doing gigs and nobody had a controller and we used this one. It did have a separate wire that you could plug in. So if you do find one of these, you could actually plug it in with a USB-C adapter and actually DJ with the current version of DJ Pro AI, but I don't know why you would. So overall, this controller, it started a great revolution, but this one really missed the ball, and it's sad because Numark is one of my favorite DJ controller companies, but this one, just like the other one I just showed you, really just was terrible. And next is this one. This one is actually recommended as one of the recommended controllers by Algorithm. You could find this page by going into DJ Pro and then going to MIDI devices and then support a DJ controller, and it's right here. It's the Reloop Mix Tour. Now this controller, it was meant to be different, meant to be a new way of DJing, and I thought it was terrible. When I tried to DJ with it, I was like, how do you DJ with no jog wheels? This was during the time where Tractor was making controllers without jog wheels, and they thought the future of DJing would be no jog wheels, but that did not catch on, and it's not going to catch on, and I'm happy that there's new controllers coming out that tried to do what this did. You couldn't mix hip-hop, you couldn't mix other stuff, maybe EDM you could mix, but techno you could mix. It did have a big mixer. It had a 4-band mixer and a filter knob. It had all your effects and the sync button, and it just, I don't know why they didn't give us jog wheels. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's so many other great controllers out there that I just think this controller is just useless, and I would not recommend it. They say it's supposed to be like an add-on. If you have a controller, you could add this on to control extra decks and add effects and stuff, but I just don't know why they went so off the beaten path. It's not even like a controller. It's more like just the mixer section of the controller, and it looks like the jog wheels are missing. So I really don't like this controller. I'm sure some people do. Let me know in the comments which of these controllers you think is the worst. Let me know if you actually like some of these controllers and you think I'm wrong. I love to hear your opinion. And if you have any other questions regarding DJing, controllers, DJing with your iPad, feel free to send me an email or ask in the comment section. Thanks for watching.